All right, the light is red. I guess that means I'm live. I'm live on LinkedIn. I'm live on LinkedIn with somebody I hadn't talked to in years for a while, who's doing some really interesting things. Kate Bradley Chernis. She is the founder and CEO of lately.com, or is it's
Try lately.
trylately.com, but the company is Lately. So Kate, thank you for joining me.
Hey, Brent, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
I should send a shout out to Alan Berkson too, because he
Yes.
was the person who initially connected me to you. So, Alan, you did good once,
Alan was the first person I ever talked to lately about outside of my own team. The very, very first
Really?
pitch we ever made. Yep.
Wow.
5 years ago. Yep.
That is pretty amazing.
He has that distinction. He was tentative for a few years there, which he should have been. Then we won him over.
All right. So tell us a little bit of your personal background, and then we'll jump into what you're doing with Lately.
Yeah, thank you. Well, so in another life, Brent, I was a rock and roll DJ. Did I tell you that?
No, see, I was an old school hip hop DJ, so that just
Yes.
knew there was something I liked about you. That's
That's
good.
amazing. Totally. Well, so my last gig was broadcasting to 20 million listeners a day for XM satellite radio.
Right.
Yeah. So often my husband, he's like, "Why don't I get the nice voice?" That's my nice voice.
What voice does he get?
He gets the nasal, like, dude, move it voice.
There it is. Yeah, the do stuff voice. Yeah,
The
there
do
it
stuff voice. Yeah. I save this voice for really when I'm at the bank and I want a bigger loan. Like. No, I'm just kidding. Investors sometimes that voice.
There you go. There it is. All right.
But yeah, and then sort of jumped to a few years later. I was suddenly a marketing agency owner, and I was working on a Walmart project. Was my first real big project. Yeah, so
Nice.
that's kind of where like the Lately story starts, right? So you got to stop me too, because Yammer like DJ affliction over here.
That's good for when you're talking, to somebody. That's a good thing.
All right. So, the Walmart project was interesting because it was a unique collaboration between Walmart and United Way Worldwide and the National Disability Institute. And then they were partnered with the IRS and Bank of America and AT&T. And then they had all their franchises involved. And then there were just tens of thousands of small and medium businesses and nonprofits. So a real mixed bag of players. And the reason was because there was this piece of software called My Free Taxes that helped. The goal was to help lift the poor out of poverty through income tax credits and financial empowerment education. So, good cause, great cause. A lot of people wanted to play, and we needed to figure out how to get them all to market it together. So I sat back after a couple of weeks. I went to my contact and I was like, "Hey, I made a spreadsheet for me because my own brain is like exploding over this madness." And I showed it to her and she was like, "Oh my God." And that's the system that we ended up using, which got us 130% ROI year over year for 3
There
years.
it is. There it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, what was so interesting, Brent, about that was I uncovered a secret, which is everyone hates writing. And B, marketers hate writing.
Right.
What? This is mind blowing. It was just, and they're really bad at it. So yeah, when I saw that, and they were, the team was often hiring outside sources, consultants like me, to do the writing, and then it would collect dust, right? So you have long form content. We've all had this happen. We've worked somewhere where there's a blog or a press release or a newsletter, and like maybe there's one shout out about it, check out my blog or something vapid like that, and then nothing happens, and it's just this huge waste. And then the other challenge they had was just disseminating the marketing content out to everyone, like a huge number of people, in a way where they could then customize it themselves for their own audiences, which was different. So that was challenging. And then social, this is 10 years ago. So social just became like a thing.
Right.
And the approval process with Walmart was, of course, a nightmare. And no one also wanted to write the content. So I just thought, well, I'm going to take this blog and I'm going to take all these awesome sentences in the blog. I'm going to make them into social posts, link back to the product. I'm going to reuse this blog that was otherwise collecting dust, and Walmart approved it quickly because they already did. And then I created a playbook to disseminate it with a standardized way of like localizing it for your audience. So that's how we all got that number, the 130% ROI. But it's the idea of a rising tide lifts all boats. And like, I love this because we have a lot of same friends in common who operate this way in their lives, right? So it's a human condition. It's a beautiful human condition to want to lift the boats around you with your own rising tide, right? And that's what the friends we have in common have done with me and with Lately. It's my karmic duty to pass it on to other female entrepreneurs I know. But it's the idea of together we're stronger, right? It's so pure, but it translates not to just your family and friends and your social life, but to your business life too.
Okay, so what exactly is Lately?
Right. So Lately gives individuals and businesses the power to do what I did for Walmart way faster and way cheaper. So it's like having a pistol that's really a rocket launcher type of idea. So you can take any blog, any video, any podcast, news article that was written about your company, like maybe some PR, and paste the URL into Lately's artificial intelligence, push a button. You could add a few hashtags if you wanted to. And what the AI does is it instantly goes out and it examines the last year of every social post you've ever published on any of your channels that you have connected to us. And it's looking for the most compelling engaging posts, the highest engaging posts, and it's looking for the keywords that have appeared there in those posts. And it's building a writing model based on your writing that resonates the best with your customers. And then it pulls the quotes of what it's ingested from your blog, for example, out into social posts with the short link on the end and the hashtags and anything else you like. So what kind of think of it like a little movie trailer to the larger components, but often you're getting like 36 social posts because there's going to be some incredible sentences that either somebody said or somebody wrote, each like a little taste of what's to come if you were to click it. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like it'll save a lot of time too. And also it's sort of like, I guess, the AI part, because when we first talked, that really wasn't a component. So how is AI, not only change what you do, but change kind of your approach to doing what you do?
Yeah, it's funny that the wonderful part about, again, being a human, but also being a startup entrepreneur is the ability to iterate and learn. And, when we had first met, I didn't know how to describe what we did. It was really hard to, fit us in that hole. And wait, I just got lost. What was the second part of your question?
so yeah, how has it changed what you
Oh,
do?
how to change. Thank you. Sorry, human. Um, so one thing that's changed is certainly the way that we understand what resonates with our customers. So that was the biggest one. I mean, Lately is actually a very robust platform that does way more automatically in the background, so that once you have this beautiful content generated by the AI, you want to do stuff with it. And so it's our job to give you that ability. But we used to sell that part first and not the AI.
Wow.
Yeah, so like it's a strange kind of way that we had to flip it, and that was just really by watching like what did our customers get into the most, and then also just connecting the story. So we learned like how to demo the product in a certain series of ways where then you'd go, oh, 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 so like multiple ahas. Which is super valuable. And then to really also understand what the biggest pain point was. Like, we thought time saving would be the biggest pain point because like that seems obvious. Who doesn't want more time? And then money saving seemed like a big point as well. But it turns out these days we're all so saturated with many things that make our lives better that time saving, money saving becomes expected. But the writing, that's a pain point that no one's solving. Right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how do you measure the success of the person gives you a blog post? You create use your AI to kind of find the right words and sentences to pull out, and then put those in display in different social pieces. How do you measure success around it? Is this little piece that I'm pulling out getting in front of the right audience, and the right audience is actually doing what we'd like them to do?
Yeah. So that's the smartest question, of course, is like, what are the results? So we do measure how, for us, we're looking behind the scenes at how often our customers are auto-generating content, and then how often they're actually publishing that content, and then how well that's performing, and taking note of that database. We use ourselves often as, I mean, we dog food our own product, if you guys have heard of that term, meaning we drink our own champagne, right? So I'll talk about us because I can do that publicly with license. So for us, for example, we believe in 100% organic content and the power of organic. We don't do any paid ads. As many of you know, a lot of social media outlets have been pressing down the reach of paid ads. So we were like, let's just do what we know how to do best. And I get a lot of inbound. I get a great bunch of interviews like this because of my charming personality. And we auto-generate all that press. So for example, we might take a recording of this podcast, we'll put it through the auto generator, and in just a few seconds, we'll get, let's just say 60 social posts. It's probably likely.
Wow.
And the goal of the AI is to then start you at third base, and for a human, which we love the humans, to come in and get it to home plate, right? So that's the 1 + 1. Whoops, where's my mirror? 1 + 1 = 3 equation. There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, mirror. So the way it works for us, for example, is with those, let's say 50 posts we get, I would pop in and just spend a few extra minutes humanizing them, maybe putting my voice on, making sure that everything is looking awesome from what the AI gives me. And then we like to stagger all 50 posts out over time. So what I would do, Brent, was I would actually probably tag you in most of those posts, maybe half of them. But if I broadcast them every day for a week, you would be like, dude, you are annoying me. Like, I'm not retweeting this content. But if I spread it out once every 3 weeks over the next few months, we're both going to get a lot of long tail traffic. And so if you're doing this often and stockpiling your whole calendar in this way, right, it's like, it's the new evergreen. And for us, it translates to a 50% trial to sale conversion. So those are the results we're looking at.
Okay.
And the reason is because the leads are already warm by the time we get to them, right? So what we look at is who's liking our content, who's commenting, and who's retweeting it, and what are those people like. So we don't do any cold emailing or cold calling, because if you're already participating in my audience in some way, you like me, you know something about me, that hurdle is already, cut in half for me, right? And so we've like really putting that stake in the stand, like organic is the winner. And the reason is because these relationships, right? You know me, you've got some idea. When my team member approaches you, it's just a much different kind of conversation there. So we actually encourage and train our own customers on the same model by request. So we do free courses every week. I join those once a week because I'm a CEO.
I get those emails.
Yeah, you should come to the ones I do. They're really good. I promise.
I just like the way that you call yourself Kate Lee from lately.
Yes, I'm busted.
Oh,
You can
by
be
the way,
Brentley.
yeah, I've been called that before. You got fans because there's, well, let's see, there's Chris Bro. You know
Chris
Chris Bro?
Bro.
He goes woo and who. Hello, Kate Lee.
Hey there, Chris. Love you.
Lauren Turo. Hey, Brent. Hey, Kate Lee.
These are my people.
Yes, your peeps. Katie Jordan. Start you at third base, and you, the human, comes in to take it home.
Yep, that's so good. That's awesome.
And one of my boys, one of my buddies, Kenny Lauer, he says, "Hey Brent, it's Kenny." Yeah, I know
Hey,
it's Kenny.
Kenny.
Oh, Kenny says AI can absolutely replace the human. Maybe not lately, but it's absolutely possible. Interesting. We don't want to replace humans, though, do we? I mean,
Not in marketing, though, Brent. I mean, or do you mind if I jump in on that one? Like
go ahead.
the reason is because of emotion, right? So this is so powerful and people dismiss it. Like the whole reason salespeople like to go and make the sale in person is because they know there's such a higher value of conversion. If you're actually talking to a human, there's that empathy, sympathy, it all happens in that moment, right? And so if you remove the human from the situation, you won't get that. A robot just doesn't do that at all. So that's why you want them collaborating together. And the thing is it's so much more powerful, right? Like it's not 1 + 1 = 2, 1 + 1 = 3 with these two components, right?
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, Kenny, he is a big AI, virtual reality, augmented reality guy, and he used to be the guy who ran like marketing and digital experience for the Golden State Warriors. So
Oh, awesome.
he's
So I
all
might be
in.
putting my foot in my mouth.
No, but you'll be able to. I think you'll be able to meet him because he will be at the AXS Summit with you
Oh, I
in
hope so.
a couple of weeks. All right, and also Katie, give me a shout out because apparently I said her name right.
Awesome.
Yeah,
CADI, right?
yeah.
Yes, good job.
Oh, listen. Oh, Kenny, I'm gonna have to get Kenny involved in these at some point. Kenny says AI will be able to deliver emotion and empathy, not a robot, a human AI personality. I know there are a couple of companies that are working on some of that stuff. I know Pega Systems. They actually put into their customer engagement platform something called an empathy advisor.
Oh, wow.
Early days for that, but let me ask you. So, do you think you will be able to include empathy into your AI layer to not only create the post, but to put the feeling, the human emotion into the post as well? Is that something that you can see coming?
Yeah, softball city, Brent. So of course, right? So I mean, this is the exciting part, right? So we're focused on AI creative writing, which is a blue ocean kind of field. And just to lay it out for you a little bit. So right now, Lately extracts short form content, i.e. social posts, from long form content, i.e. blogs, videos, podcasts. Now, down the road, that short form content will take other forms: text messaging, sales chats, emails, even blogs themselves, right? But once we extract the short form from the long form, we're then able to enhance that content. Whoops, where's my mirror? Enhance.
There you go.
And so one of the ways we enhance now is with the keyword weighting, which is what we've been touching on. We're also able to enhance with tone of voice. So we worked with Anheuser-Busch InBev over the summer, and we ingested 10,000 pieces of content from one of their brands, so one brand voice, into our AI brain. And at the end of the experiment, we were able to push a button, and Lately was able to create content from scratch in the brand voice, and it was damn good and emotional.
So, so it's not just about ingesting content, finding the snippets and pushing them out. Now you're talking about generating the content in addition to that.
Yeah, it just needs that baseline of information, right? So those 10,000 posts is what it was learning from. And what it inspired us to do, by the way, and I'd love to know what Kenny thinks about this. So our customers constantly were asking us, well, so Kate, how do you do it? Like, this is why I give those free courses. How does Lately do it? We want to write like Lately. And so we thought, well, let's take what we've learned with our InBev project and let's turn that model on ourselves. So right now we're taking all 40,000 social posts that Kate Lee has published, and we're running that through the AI brain so that we can then use that as the gold standard to recommend to our customers and kind of create different learning sets. So now one of them, as we move on, will be mood. So if you wanted funny posts, you can just click a button, right?
You need to work on like creating a like a Samuel L. Jackson voice for delivering these.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
All right, so you've made a fan out of Kenny, and he says he can't wait to meet you. And
Great.
yeah, so you
Thank
guys are
you.
gonna have a great conversation when you both get down to Atlanta. This is great stuff.
I'd love it.
So, what other thing should people know about lately that I haven't asked you and you haven't been able to tell you because I didn't ask you yet?
Thank you. So I think the thing that we're very excited about is that rocket launcher idea, right? So it comes in two ways with us. Well, two main ways. One is the idea of creating a variety of high quality content. So quantity and quality, because we know both. And I just want to hit this on the head real quick before I tell you the other thing. So one of my favorite marketing adages, Brent, is goes like this: not marketing is like winking in the dark. Get it?
Interesting. Yeah. How would you know if you're winking? No.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, unfortunately, a lot of people, even marketers, don't understand that quite yet. So, if you're going to broadcast one time on LinkedIn or Twitter, for example, the chances of me seeing it are very slim. You still need that quantity, but then you need the quality and the variety as well, right? So, this is the problem lately is solving. But then, of course, we all have the secondary of problem of needing to be everywhere at once. And that's not just for like single influencers like yourself who need to rock their brand, or friends like Brian Kramer, for example, or Dan Gingiss. I think you know a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
And it's not only a problem for small businesses, but it's a problem for larger companies as well. Like, how do we get to be everywhere all at once? So lately created a syndication capability like what I did for Walmart, so that we call it parent child. So a parent account can be connected to multiple children and then boss them around and they like it. And so auto generated content from like a CEO's podcast, for example, sprinkling it out to the child accounts that could be social sales teams. They could be franchises like local banks who have a different audience locally. They could be employee advocates. So people who want to like rah the company, which nowadays everyone's being asked to do.
Yep.
I make my own team do it, as evidenced by some of the
they're on right now.
I know. They're the best. But so this is like the idea of not a rising tide lifting all boats, but a tsunami, right?
Nice. Well, and I'm in the middle of it seems like a tsunami here because it's been raining for 24 hours. Okay. Katie said I should ask you about Netflix.
Oh yeah, she loves this. So thank you, Katie. Good call. So one of the things that we've learned, to your point earlier, about how to better really describe what we're doing is to give ourselves a little more credit for what we're doing. Me personally, by the way, this is a typical thing I've learned from other female entrepreneurs, but it's like a weird Achilles heel. So what Lately's AI does, and this is really important for folks to understand, is not just automation, it's artificial intelligence that really learns what works. So the same way Netflix learned what we all wanted to watch and then used that data to recommend relevant content to you, and then used that data to create original content like The Crown that's now the most watched on its platform, right? Because the AI learns what works. And that's what Lately does as well with words.
Katie, that was a great way to make sure you give the boss the cue to talk about this.
She's
That's
good.
That was really good
Thank
stuff.
you.
And I also hear that congratulations are in order. You just graduated from something. Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, thanks, Brent. Yeah, I'm so proud. We qualified to be a member of the Launch Accelerator, which is Jason Calacanis's accelerator in San Francisco. Jason is an incredible angel investor, my investor now and mentor. And it was 12 weeks where every single week is a mini demo day to 8 to 10 venture capitalists, right? Which is no small feat. I mean, you're on stage shaking your thing, right? Doing the show. And then you get meetings from there. And so we graduated from that. The last day was last Thursday. I won on Thursday.
Congratulations.
Feels super good. Yeah. And then my birthday was the Thursday before, which I completely milked the heck out of that. I was like,
I'm sure that's why you won, because that was your birthday. No.
it was so fun. But it's really, I'm so proud of, I'm proud of my team, of course. I mean, they're pretty incredible because I had to abandon them basically for 3 weeks to go to San Francisco to finish this thing up. And not only did they ride, they flew the plane spectacularly, right? But it also taught me to be proud of myself. It just sounds so weird to say that, but I I can brag about the things that I've done more concisely and with more confidence, and or at all than I was doing before, and that matters a lot. Not only for your investors, Brent, but like for your team, for the team to hear me say, like, I took our burn from 100K to 10K and doubled our sales in spite of that, and
Wow.
made relationships with SAP and AB InBev and NBC and Gary Vee. I did that.
You did it.
It's
Absolutely.
hard to
That's
say
cool.
that.
So it's. I was telling you before we started streaming there that I had a chance to talk to Layla Seika, and she just joined an organization that is, geared towards getting women and underrepresented minorities more involved in the venture capital process. Tell me, give me your experiences. You're a founding CEO of a hot startup. You're a female, and it's an AI startup. That's even hotter. So, what has been your experience in this whole process? Has it been what you were expected? Has it been more difficult? Has it been less difficult? Tell us a little bit about your journey on that area.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I mean, you get punched in the face almost every day, to be honest with you, and it can come as a shock often. But you do get numb to it, because there's things. It's just so out of your control. The biggest thing that I learned this year, especially, was that the overwhelm feeling wasn't going away. The list of to-dos and all the things that had to be done, like immediately yesterday, on fire, was never going to go away. And I needed to change my perception of those things. So I did something that people have been telling me to do for years. And I was like, are you kidding? I don't have time for this, which is meditating.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So, and the difference has been for me actually life-changing, because the stuff is the punches in the face, all of these emergencies, they're coming all the time, like looking at the bank account, and having the pressure of, making sure my team is happy and good, and my investors and myself. But none of the outside stuff was going to change. So I had to be able to learn how to change the inside stuff. And I've been trying to give that gift to as many other entrepreneurs as I possibly can, because we all suffer from this. And like most of the entrepreneurs that I know like to suffer alone. I mean, there's a reason we do this thing, and you sign up for it, right? So like, there's nothing that I regret. Any punch in the face that I've had, I would take again, honestly, gladly, because it's what has gotten us here. But I choose this ride because the highs are so high. I mean, the lows are so low, right? So I think, like, knowing that's the case and that's what you're signing up for, I can't wait to write the book. It's going to be amazing,
So, what would you tell an aspiring tech entrepreneur, female tech entrepreneur, based on all the things that you've gone through? What would be like your most key piece of information you could provide?
What's so funny is another female entrepreneur asked me this recently, and she'd been asking a bunch of guys also, and the guys all said the same thing, which is don't do it.
Really?
Funny. Yeah. And then I can't even remember my answer at the moment. I have to think about it. But I think it was, I know what it was. It was so cliche, but it's so true, which is you really have to be yourself. And I'll give you an example of what that means to me. When I first started this journey, I thought, I'm going to these big fancy offices in New York City. I'm a Vermont girl, right? And I put on, actually, I put on something today, which I learned to wear, but I don't like wearing, which is a jacket, because it's not my nature. But I would put on my jacket and my dress and my heels. Like I thought I had to dress like a banker, you know, and then I was polite and all these things.
Oh no, you had to be polite too. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
the worst. And that's not what this game is about. This game is about, especially in our early stages, which we still are, is, you know, the investors and the customers are investing in you and your personality. And I swear like a sailor. I mean, in real life, I'm not polished. I'm happy to embarrass myself, and I mean, I put both feet in my mouth often. And as soon as I started to celebrate that, and people were investing in it, to be honest with you. And it's the voice that we use to market the company. So that's all very calculated. And it took me, in fact, Marat was one of our investors from another accelerator, is the person who gave me this advice. And other people tell you to be yourself all the time, right? Your parents have told you that a million times, but somehow like it just clicked that day. And I stopped trying to be polished. I mean, I'm just not. And everything changed. And it honestly, with me too, it made me able to have more sincere conversations, right? So with the women I know, it's so hard because you want to be yourself, but at the same time you have to play this game. And the game, excuse my French, but the game is like, who's got the biggest balls? This is the game. All right. And yours have to be bigger because you're the woman, to be honest with you. Right.
Wow.
And what does that mean? Like, for me, it means you don't ever say I think. You say I know. Right? That's one little tip I learned. Or I always speak the loudest, even if it's going to hurt the mic, and make them jump a little bit. You know, pay attention to me, damn it.
Nice. And you got to have the damn it. That's like the period exclamation point.
You do. Yeah. And anyway, so if I also just want to like hug those ladies, whoever you are. Sorry to be all fluffy on you, but like, this shizzle is hard, and you should give yourself some credit. You have, whoever you are, you have major balls for even dreaming the dream you're dreaming.
Is it just so much harder because you're in that tech male dominated field, and it seems like if you're not the prototype, you get overlooked, or you're just made to look like you're not even there?
Yeah, I mean, it's for sure. It's part of it. Like, it's annoying because it's definitely there, and you have to acknowledge that it's there, and you have to work harder to overcome it. But if you pay attention to it, then it weakens you, you know, and you can't be a whiner, and you can't discredit yourself based on how other people perceive you. And I find it mostly very effing annoying. I just find it annoying and in my way and frustrating. Oftentimes I don't even recognize that's what's happening. I've had other women have to point it out for me. I'm like, oh, you know, okay, that's
Right.
so stupid. But one of the things that Calacanis loves to talk about is dunking, meaning like, so just show them up and then you're going to dunk on them later. And I have to say, that feels really super good. It might be childish, but I love it. So that just makes me want to be that much more awesome. And I think I posted something on LinkedIn a couple days ago. Our friend Steve Dotto had done an interview with us a little while ago, and so one of our auto-generated pieces came up, and I shared it, and I just added a new component, and I started it with the word naysayer. Turns out the word naysayer shoots up on LinkedIn like no tomorrow. So
Really?
like our AI started recognizing it as a really good word for us. And I had said something like, naysayers told you so, because what Steve had said was, now I'm with Lately's AI, I'm now writing like better than I ever had before, or something like that. And I know it sounds a little bit invective, but that victory is sweet. Like I feel like that's the title of my book, Naysayers Beware.
I'm just curious, when you dunk on them, do you have a dunk face that you throw down on them with?
Yeah,
You
man.
know, yeah, you got to have that mean mug as
What's
you like
yours?
hang on the rim, you know. There it is. That's cool stuff. Man.
Show me your dunk face, Brent. You got one? Let me see.
See, I've never been able to dunk, so you know, if I ever dunk, my dunk face would be like, I did it. You know, don't think that's the same thing. Yours like I did it. Yeah,
You know what? On that note, I want you to know, like the first demo day I ever did, 3 years ago, I guess it was now. At the end, so I did it, and I come off the stage, and I literally jumped up like a little girl, and I said, "I did it," which is not what I do now. Now it's more
I'm
like,
ready to say. Might not want to do that now, but that's okay.
But inside, that's the voice, right?
There it
That's the
is.
voice. Yeah.
Inside where it really counts. That's
100%.
This has been a lot of fun. Tell people where they could go and learn more about all the things that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Brent. I am super stoked to hug you in Atlanta soon. So anyone can always reach me personally at kate@trylately.com, and lately is trylately.com. Kenny, can't wait to talk to you especially. And thank you so much.
When you say hug, just know, have you ever met Paul Greenberg before?
No, we've only Zoomed.
Okay.
What am I in for?
He is the chief hugger.
Excellent.
Or the hugger in residence or whatever. But just be ready, because he will be there and he will hug you first meeting.
I will wear stretchy clothing for that, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for taking time out today. I know you are busy. You just got back from San Francisco. I don't know. You might just be going back there. I don't know. But we appreciate you taking the time, and good luck with everything. And this is some cool stuff. I'm really interested in what you're doing.
Thanks, Brent. Love you.
All right. See you.